So naturally, the video didn't record when I made all these changes. But after some conversation with Bridget, we realized that I was being far too literal with my interpretation of the Bouillard piece. So I thought I'd play around. And let's face it, most of the time making art is just playing around, right? At least it should be. If you don't find it play, what are you doing? So I thought I would imagine from the original piece what happens next in the story. So many things have gone since I last posted. Of course, the holidays, but I also had surgery, and that took some recovery time. But here I thought I'd give you a close look at these changes that I've made as sort of the process is going along. You can see I haven't done the head yet, but I've got those pieces and parts done. I feel like these two women are having a closer interaction. I'm really happy with how the hand and the coffee cup look, but clearly a lot more to do with this figure. Figuring out feet and such. And the white lines are kind of showing, so I've transitioned the dog a bit and then trying to figure out how the chair, or the wall portal changes after that. And so now I'll just keep working, laying in the wall. So that archway, which is implied in the Vouillard, but doesn't exist in the, and then getting the doorway in the back and laying in the floor more, sort of dealing with the pattern of her legs. And just getting the feet and laying in some more of the floor. And then kind of realizing I need a little bit of a cast shadow. So laid that in so you get a little bit of a different color. Maybe that should have carried further back. And then at some point here, I'm not happy with how these chairs look. So we may come back and revisit that. Work on her figure. I do like the way the computer screen light is striking that shoulder. Bouncing back to the gentleman who's now stood up from his newspaper in the Vouillard to see exactly what's going on back there. The Vouillard, there's no interaction between foreground and background. So here we are. This is today, the last bit of work on this piece. You can see it's gotten pretty close. There's still some work to do with feet and legs and table. The chairs have changed to this darker red, which I think works better. Of course, I start by putting these gloves on. I know the blue gloves bother some of you, but bought some white ones, but I'm not as I don't know if you noticed that little finger gesture, but I was really just trying to figure out how the foot lays in there. So in the interim, we've sort of thought about titles with this piece, and we do have one, but I'll reveal that. But it kind of deals with, so now I'm just getting the foot colors in. So first putting in the dark tones, because that calf is quite blue. So for her foot, still up there under shadow, should at least carry some of that blue purple tone forward. So we know it's the same foot. As always, pause, look at it, think about it, and now I've got to cover up the changes from before, lay in the rest of this floor. So the first is that vermilion, that's the seam line of the planks, and then laying orange on top of it to get the planks. Always step back, look, paint some more, step back, look, paint some more. Kind of my mantra. And of course these oranges will be a little different because there's that dark blue underneath, and while the RF paints are far more opaque than the Richardson Art ones, they're still, that luminosity is going to be a little bit different because of the blue behind it, and thus that's the whole idea behind underpainting. Realizing, oh yeah, that's a little bit of floor right there. And I like that orange pop right in there amongst the blue. Of course, complementary colors. And just getting little bits and parts finished in. And then I think it dawns me, wait a minute, that's under shadow, so I grab a little bit more of the vermilion. And of course the chair leg. I think that's all it's, oh yeah, the seat of the closer figure's chair. So just a little bit more vermilion. I think that all that's left now is the toe molding. Right here on this piece of baseboard. And I'm kind of thrilled to have this piece almost done. Well, it will be done by the time the video is over, because I got another fun one. Been rolling around in my head for a while. It's a little spot of flesh tone there. And now, because I feel that, nope, that's right, the keyboard. Which is going to be very loose, but then again, the whole painting is rather loose. And I will show you in a moment here. We'll go up close and you can really see how it looks from my point of view while I'm working on it. So just a simple grid of the keyboard, not, a lot of it is, we know what this thing is. We just need a little bit of a reference. Just as the woman typing on the keyboard doesn't have a mouth, but you know it's there. The keyboard is kind of the same thing. It's more about telling the story. And of course, I never liked, well, I didn't dislike, but D.H. Lawrence and a lot of books that lay on so much description, particularly books from the 1800s. And I'm like, it bogs down driving the story. And so I kind of paint the same way. Enough detail to get you into what's happening, but not so much detail that you're bogged down in the detail. And I'm not dissing realist painters, but from my method of communication and art. So here I'm just kneeling down and admiring my bald spot and writing the title. Which is, look at this, exclamation point. And of course, today being the 28th is the day the painting is finished, and so that's the date it gets. Clearly I've been working on this worked on it for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, then had about a 3-week break between holidays and surgery recovery. That it was almost 2 months from start to, or a month and a half from start to finish. So there, see, there's the title. Look at this. The dog turning and looking. Obviously, the two women looking at the computer screen and each other. We, of course, don't know what they're looking at. But you can see how little actual detail is there to communicate the story. You can see hints of revisions, changes, what T. Powell called zips, that intersection of different layers of color and the little hints of what was once there. Same thing in the face and the jerseys, but see, I just wanted to zoom in and see just how loose it really is, and how important the directions of the marks are, and how they, like, there's some of those zips right above the green of the couch from the earlier variations on the piece. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Love to know what you think, and does this do the original justice? Please leave a comment.